the first thing I want to do is congratulate you on this Nike deal. It is
Yeah, thank you, man.
incredible what has happened. So can you tell us how that deal came about and how what sort of relationship you guys have moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, it's a huge deal. It's incredible. Like this stuff's kind of unheard of in the breaking scene until sort of now, I guess. My management was working alongside me, and in contact with Nike for a little bit of a while, trying to build a bit of a relationship to see where things could go, what the possibilities were, what we could do. And then eventually, I ended up getting they directly contacted me actually through one of my media platforms and wanted to discuss further. And so obviously we did just that. I left it in the hands of my management, and we came to an agreement. And here I am today with this great Nike deal. But it's a really great relationship actually. It's not one of those where it's stressful. It's not one of those where I have to do anything I don't want to do. I'm completely in control of it, and for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm working with such a big brand. And the key part of that is that I'm working with them rather than for them, which is really dope because breaking is urban. Breaking is what we do. Breaking's a lifestyle, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I love Nike. Nike's my favorite sports brand. It's probably my favorite brand of all time. So for them to contact me, it was a blessing. And obviously coming up in the breaking scene, you see, the bait ones, the Nike, Adidas, Puma. So it for me, it's natural. I don't have to do anything other than what I do. Rep Nike, be fresh. They help me out with that. So it's so blessed, man.
Like as you said, there we're always wearing Nikes. There's more dancers that are wearing Nike, but there are other brands that are maybe at the forefront in our culture. It's usually like
Mhm.
Adidas and whatnot. So what is their interpretation of this? Like what are they expecting from you?
I just think that they're expecting to take over, really. And I know that it's not necessarily just with me because if people are working hard, they're going to get those opportunities. Luckily, I was the first one or the most blessed one or to be where I am today, obviously with this great deal. But I think that obviously with breaking going into the Olympics, people are doing their homework. Brands, other companies, there's so many people doing their homework, and people see this. It's attractive, And I think that with Nike, they're probably the greatest brand for what they do. They have the greatest athletes, they have the greatest artists, and I think that they just wanted to get ahead with that. So not even just that, I think there's going to be so much more sort of coming this year and in the years to come, not just with myself, but other people in the scene and stuff like that. I think that it's new to them. Of course, it's new to them. It's also new to us in terms of the Olympics, in terms of being an athlete as such. But there's so much room for things to happen. So right now we're just taking it as it goes. But once we've got that path, man, it's takeover time for them and for me. So yeah.
It's amazing that they're investing in not only just the scene but the right people in our scene as well. And one of the I mean, you might have heard this over the years, but like there seems to be an issue with bigger corporations coming into our scene as if they're completely outside of our culture and they don't I'm not sure exactly how much money they've put into the culture, if at all. I'm
Mhm.
unaware of that, but considering that the majority of people would see Nike as outside of the culture in terms of activity,
Yeah.
like what is your reaction to these larger corporations that are wanting to come in and to work with us? Is this something that you're excited about?
I personally am quite excited about it because I want to be the best. I want to have the best opportunities. I want to work with the best people. I want to have something to represent because that's why I started breaking. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something. But I think it just needs to be done in the right way. Like there's a lot of corporations that come into a scene or come into a dance or come into some sort of art where they don't really have a clue. And so they want the artist or the dancer to work for them rather than work with them. Whereas with this deal that I have with Nike, it's so blessed because I'm, like I said, I can't really say too much, but there's a lot coming for dance in general with Nike, a lot coming with breakers in general for Nike. But they're working with me, there's no stress on my end. I can take my ideas to them, they give their ideas to me, and we just try and work things out. I think it just has to be right for people. I've worked a lot for so many companies, and I've been in them experiences where I feel like I've just been drained and just been rinsed for my talent and what I can bring to them. But I think it's blessed. I think I'm happy to be a part of almost anything that's going to be beneficial to me. But I think you just have to be careful and just make sure you've got the right people around yourself to deal with the insides and the outsides. For example, I have my management, which is very good, very blessed, involved in the breaking scene as well. So it's all good on this side. So just make sure, like, if a company is sort of approaching you, just make sure you're doing the right things, and they're representing you just as much as you're representing them.
Yeah, this is encouraging news, bro. And when you're talking, and actually, the last thing I'll ask about this, if that's okay, when you're talking about like working with them instead of working for them, a lot of people just think that like it's only about education. That it's our responsibility to educate them about the ins and outs of the scene. I mean, is that a part of you working with them, like letting them know how things are done, the fashion, the attire, like everything along those
Yeah,
lines?
definitely. I think now they have much more of an understanding. Obviously, they came to me having done their homework, of course. With the Olympics, it's such a massive thing. Like I said, this is so attractive because it's so new, it's so refreshing, it's so urban. Like people want to get involved in that. So they've definitely done their homework to some extent. But I had a lot of meetings with them, a lot of sort of conversations, just to explain things to them, how it works for us. Because again, obviously they wanted to know how it works. They wanted to know how they could work with myself and how they can work with the breaking scene in general. So it's definitely had a lot of those conversations, even just my influences as a b-boy, what I like to do, just so that I have the right things for myself. So they're a great company, man. It's probably the best company I've ever worked with as well. And I've worked with a lot of brands and stuff. And I'm not just saying that because it's my partnership, it's my sponsorship. Just generally because I feel like I'm a part of them. Yeah.